Hello everybody and welcome back to the best reactions. You have come here to be entertained by memes and you've chosen the right place because the Canadian Grand Prix, you lot got involved. And I love to see it. Hashtag P1 if you want to get involved for next time, which is Austria. And also, before we get into everything, I just want to say, if you want to subscribe to our extra channel, P1 Extra, where we just uploaded a video and all that good stuff, and we do extra stuff, live reaction stuff, all those kind of highlights that you might want to see, then go and click the link, top of the description to go subscribe. I'd love to get to 100k. We're about 8,000 subs away, which is awesome. Let's get it to 100. Let's begin with P10. Ainsley Ferron, welcome to couples counselling. Alex Albon and Williams. That was never, in my mind's eye, a relationship problem that I thought would ever surface. But this year, Alex Albon has been incredibly sassy with Williams over the team radio, thinking that he's not being listened to. We also have heard, to be fair, the other side of the garage with Carlos Sainz. He was pretty angry at times with Williams as well. I think it was after Miami, if I remember correctly. But Albon, whether it's a case of a shift in expectation now that the Williams is decent and can challenge for points, he expects more from the team. Whatever it is, they do need a smidge of couples counselling. P9, Joe Formula 6P. F1 TV every time they cut to turn 10. F1 the movie. F1 the movie. This episode is not sponsored by F1 the movie. In fact, myself and Tommy didn't even get invited to go and watch it. So that's fun, but it's fine because I feel like I've seen most of it anyway due to just all the trailers that are coming out. There are actual snippets of the film as well. There's one in the pit lane. Either or, F1, if you didn't know, have made a movie and it's out pretty soon. So I can't wait to make a little review of it. I know myself and Tommy will jump on that as soon as we can to watch it and give you guys our thoughts on it because, this whole embargo around it, everyone's saying, I can't say anything about it apart from I really enjoyed it. So we'll have to wait and see. Akash Perala. Max, every time he sees Antonelli trying to overtake him. This was ridiculous. It didn't happen once, it happened twice. Where Antonelli, I think, one of the times was pulling the move and Max just went, see ya, straight into the pits. The second time, he was just coming under pressure and again, went straight into the pits. And to be honest with you, Red Bull made a pretty good decision by doing that because Kimi Antonelli had some really strong phases of the race, especially towards the end of the stint, the stints that he did. So to sort of react to that, to cover the undercut, was the absolute right decision for Max and Red Bull. He was a bit stronger in that final stint to be able to secure P2, but he was not having Antonelli pass him at any point. Okay, we're into our first thing away from the hashtag P1 Top 10, and it has to be something that we've already spoken about on social media, but we have to include it. Nico Rosberg and the curse. This man, if you have not seen this, if you know nothing about the Nico Rosberg curse, he just absolutely loves to take selfies when he's there at a Formula 1 weekend. You think that's pretty innocent, Matt? What could possibly be wrong about Nico taking some selfies? Well, the amount of times he has taken a selfie in front of Ricciardo's car, Hamilton's car, whoever it might be, they then have a stinker of a race or race weekend. And he took a picture at the wall. Well, it's a wall, Matt. Lando hit that exact part of the wall. Make it make sense. P7, Raven LP. Ferrari to Leclerc, time for your medicine. So this one, there's a lot to it. There's obviously a Ferrari badge. Plan B, one plan, emergency Ferrari plan, reduces chance of victory after wanting Plan C, one tablet, no ideas. Why? I don't get how Ferrari have become such a meme. Well, I do. I get exactly how they've become such a meme around their plans. But why have the plans if you just disagree with your driver almost every single time? Like Charles said, here's them. We're thinking Plan B. I think Plan C. The next thing we hear, we're going Plan B. Now, there may have been a bit more of a discussion back and forth that wasn't televised, but I just don't. I want Charles to really take a stranglehold of that relationship with Ferrari and say, no, I'm having it my way for once. P6, Leniovius. When everyone but you is doing a two-stop strategy. Yuki Tsunoda. Yeah, like 56 of 70 on hard tyres. I think just missed out, didn't he, on some points. I feel so sorry for Yuki. I know he's not doing particularly well, but you can see the emotion draining out of his eyes in the post-race, post-quali interviews. And this is a guy that was so highly rated. And it's so insane to me how quickly Formula One can move on from this person's the hype person, now it's to someone else, now it's to someone else. The momentum shifts so quickly that Yuki's now not in really a conversation for any front-running seat, although he is in a front-running seat, but a seat that is cursed, as we know, because nobody can deliver in that car, really. So what happens next? Because Red Bull were like, yeah, we'll just leave you out there, mate. Maybe we'll get a safety car. Into the honourable mentions we go. Morgana Meggs. At least I had a nap watching the Canadian Grand Prix right after Le Mans. If you did that, fair play to you. If you watched, you didn't even have to watch the whole of the 24 hours of Le Mans to be able to receive the badge of honour as a motorsport fan this weekend. But if you watched a good chunk and then went straight into the Canadian Grand Prix, fair play to you. You are a top tier motorsport fan. Prof_Chuckles, another prediction before the race, Matt. So if you don't watch our watch-alongs, firstly, where are you and why don't you? Maybe it's because you don't want to hear me and Tommy blabbing away. Maybe it's the fact you don't have a second monitor. Whatever it might be, it's fine. I forgive you. However, I made a prediction at the start of our watch-along. I said confidently with my chest that Leclerc will finish ahead of Hamilton, and he did. He did indeed. And this is a very strange meme. It's just clocked. I thought it was just that's a groundhog. Okay. All right. I'm a little bit tired after yesterday. Please forgive me. That's actually a great meme. So well done, Prof. Chuckles. Elite Merchant _ balance of life. Yep. Well, aren't we? Well, not just Italians that are mourning another Ferrari disaster class, but also all the Ferrari fans around the world. But again, you didn't have to be Italian to enjoy Kimi's maiden podium, because the chants were just awesome to hear. You could see how much it meant to him. Those are the stories that we live for as Formula One fans. It's awesome to witness. Erica is golden. McLaren Pitwall from now on will be like, or will they? That's the question. I don't think so. They have hammered so hard into our brains that there are two number one drivers and that they will be allowed to race. That is the McLaren way. So obviously, when they do race and they do crash, you don't change the McLaren way, surely. Do Papaya Rules version 2 come out? If so, what are they? See Tom on. Kimi gets the loudest crowd pop. As I say, Kimi Antonelli. What a story. What a driver he is becoming. He was on George's pace. Maybe not so much in qualifying, but in the race, he was spot on. And he was cheered just like that. Although, obviously, I've seen the GIFs where the throw happened. That didn't happen. There's no throwing. Kimi Antonelli was not thrown. He was lifted up and celebrated. Erica is golden. Again, was Charles silent or was he silenced? Of course, Ferrari. Do they listen? How much do they take on board Charles's actual feedback, or do they just look at a screen that goes, this is the fastest strategy, and they select it and it's job done? You tell me. What do you think? Gavin Curley 90, how it looks for Lando in the championship after crashing out of the Canadian Grand Prix. So look, I've seen this a lot going around social media, and it's still not over. I've seen people saying it's done. The championship is wrapped up. Well done, Oscar Piastri, champion of the world. Lando is still within a race win of Oscar. He was faster than Oscar at the end of that race. He did a brilliant job up until the point where he drove into a gap that did not exist, and it was a massive mistake. But this was not for the win, and I think that's where maybe people are holding a little bit too much gravity towards this, is that, yeah, it was massive, it was a big error from Lando, and it cost him points. But also, if that was for first and second, that's a much bigger swing of points than for fourth and fifth. And I know our brains are struggling to comprehend that the two McLarens were fighting for a non-podium place, but that's what was going on. So it's not over, guys. Relax. F_Anthem. The man, Crofty just absolutely loves bringing George Russell's town into play. Kings Lynn. I do wonder how many people around the world just go, what is a Kings Lynn? Can you tell me more? Because you keep bringing it up. Reese_Hutchin5. Toto the small Kimmy grows to Grande Kimmy. It's really good. I like that little Mario meme. And Kimmy is growing in that seat. It has to be said. He's only 10 races in. Australia was obviously a phenomenal debut, although obviously there was a few mistakes in there, but he came through to an amazing result. And this one was just such a solid, consistent performance. So, Grande Kimmy. Morgana Meggs. When someone says British, I picture George Russell. Yeah, this was a team radio and a half, wasn't it? George, well done. 1 and 3. Good day, a good day. And then George was like, good day. Good day, sir. You can always, George is so heavily British on the team radio. And look, he owns it. That's who he is. And that is Russell in a nutshell. F1 Madness _ podium celebrations in a nutshell. It felt like Kimi Antonelli had won the race. It was brilliant to watch. I did wonder whether Antonelli would have the champagne techers. And it turns out he did. He was spraying very well indeed. So fair play to Kimi. He could have easily bottled that. But he didn't, and it was a solid podium ceremony. Dave Straw 94. What's the biggest story of the race? Lando crashing or Tommy's language? Well, if you're in the watch along, this meme tells you everything you need to know. And honestly, it was incredible. If you aren't watching the watch alongs and you need a reason, that on its own should be enough. At Night to Z7, the timing on this was incredible. Will Joseph, if there is a safety car, we have a free stop. Not quite how he heard it, and not how I'm sure McLaren would have wanted that to unfold, but alas, there was a safety car. Elite Merchant _ no caption. Oh dear, stop. He's already there. Yeah, I know the meme. I feel it. Was it a complete... Yeah, it was bad. I was going to just kind of maybe get into a little bit of my hopium brain and be like, it wasn't that bad for Ferrari, but Charles could have got pole. And then who knows? Like, his pace was on par with Lando for a lot of the race. That final stint was a bit of a mystery, wasn't it, as to why he fell away so much. But yeah, maybe in 2 weeks' time. Maybe in Austria. That's where Ferrari deliver. Lars KW. This is our year. The Ferrari battering has not really featured in this particular Grand Prix. I thought I'd throw in a few. This one's actually quite a good meme because Ferrari are incredible at the DHL fastest pit stop. But not much else. Daniel Wade 263, first time participating. And welcome, Daniel, to creating memes. #P1 if you want to get involved for Austria and potentially be in this series. The Mercedes power unit. Goodness gracious me. It is... frail. It's vulnerable. Why? I don't get it. It's supposed to be completely and utterly bulletproof, the cars in 2025, but not for the Mercedes power unit at the moment. Controversial opinion time, which means it's Tom Bellingham time, which means we are all very, very happy. Now, I've locked and loaded it, Tommy. Are you ready to pop off about this?
I am ready to pop off about this one for sure.
Okay. Your passport matters when it comes to the outcome of investigations. Well, this one is very, very controversial, Tommy. I'm going to let you take the wheel. Go on.
It's a spicy one, and this is an opinion that has been around for a while now, and one that I kind of used to dismiss and laugh off and think it was just a way for people to kind of not see their own driver get penalised and maybe a bit of bias from their side. However, I am starting to understand this opinion more and more, and maybe it's not a passport, but maybe it's more that just there's either favourites at play or there are biases within the FIA and things like that, because there is so much inconsistency with these penalties being given out and penalty points that I am kind of this opinion that I'm not surprised that people are starting to question things like that, or thinking the FIA have favourites and things like that. After that race, we saw Lando Norris get a 5-second penalty for his incident with Oscar Piastri. That was added to his race time because he was classified, which is a little controversial, but it's understandable because he was classified, so that does happen. But he received 0 penalty points. And for me, that is ridiculous because 2 penalty points are given, or sometimes 1, sometimes 3 in Max's case in Spain, which was understandable, for a collision. We never see a collision caused without penalty points. When stuff like this happens, people immediately go, well, he's British, or, oh, Max would have got it. Because are you telling me that if Max Verstappen had crashed into the back of a car, that wouldn't have blown up massively and we'd be talking about the fact that he should have penalty points? I don't understand why it's not penalty points. And it's even more of a joke that they basically, in the kind of FIA document, said, well, there wasn't really a consequence, so it doesn't matter. Which we always saying, you can't take into account the consequences.
This is what we have been saying and has been, as far as I've understood, correct for the entirety of the years that we've been saying that it's not about the consequence, it's about the action. And Lando Norris caused a collision which they've decided to penalise, which I was surprised about, just purely because I thought that McLaren would be able to smooth it over and be like, don't worry, it was a racing incident, don't worry about it, it's all good. But they've penalised him. And therefore, it is a penalty point, at the very least.
At the very least, 1. Have we ever seen someone get a penalty, but not a penalty point for a collision? Because I certainly don't think so. I'm looking at a list now of the penalty points that have been given out for collisions. Oscar Piastri, Brazil, collision with car 30, 2 points. Oscar Piastri again in Abu Dhabi, 2 points. Max Verstappen in Abu Dhabi, 2 points. Liam Lawson, 2 points. Lance Stroll, 2 points. Fernando Alonso, 2 points. Jack Doohan, 2 points. Alexander Albon, 2 points. Colapinto, 2 points. Nico Hülkenberg, 2 points. How is this no points? These inconsistencies with what the FIA are doing is what's causing these opinions. And I just can't blame people for having this opinion anymore. All
right, well, that was a great pop-off, Tommy. Enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
P5, Chris Gaming NL. Russell in front of Max. Russell brakes. Max overtook me. I do love that meme template. And it was very sneaky from George. Of course, the whole protest came out after the race and it was quickly squashed by the stewards. When I say quickly, I mean 5.5 hours after the race finished, it was squashed. God, what are they doing? Like, are they just kind of trying to find their pens and pencils, and maybe they run out of paper and really basic things? Like, I really don't get why they take so long to make decisions, because that one, in reality, should take priority. It's for the race win. People are waiting, but instead they go through it in chronological order. It's Ocon on the pit exit, and just do the most important ones first. Okay, we've got another meme which I found away from the top 10, and it's from Nola Darling 250. Canada in May. This is the track in May. Good luck, y'all. We ain't getting a race next year, are we? If that's the case, Pirelli better start building a tyre that have metal spikes in them so that we can go racing in Montreal in May, because that is very snowy indeed. I mean, even if it's not snowy and it's just genuinely freezing, that is going to cause some serious carnage. I'm ready for it. P4, Joe Formula 6P. People paying attention to George versus Max, or Landowska's struggles. The Alex Albon subplot. This is really... Obviously, we've touched upon the Albon-Williams slight tension, perhaps, at least on the team radio that we've seen. And this is a great picture for that. It's happening. It's simmering in the background. Will it spill over? The first spot on the podium in P3, Ahmed Faisal 0. I believe you'd get pole. I mean, you can read the rest of that meme. I am sorry, Lando fans. Is this the price that I and all of you have to pay for me believing in him going to do well? Because I want to score points in the predictions. I believe in Lando and what he is able to achieve. Does that make me a bad person? Probably. If you're a Lando fan, probably. You're sat there saying, please stop predicting him. Am I going to? We'll see. P2, Elite Merchant _ Toto on that post-race radio. Now, this was the best short and grande Kimi Antonelli meme. And I love it. It's brilliant. It's simple. It's effective. And Elite Merchant, you get the runners-up spot. Now, before we get to the first place position, we have one more thing that I want to include. And it's a very wholesome, lovely thing. You may have seen it, you may have not. But of course, Robert Kubica winning the Le Mans 24 hours with Ferrari. Ferrari were incredibly quick at Le Mans. A bit too easy, if I'm being completely honest with you. But with everything he's been through, Robert Kubica was an absolute superstar in the making in Formula One. He had that massive crash in Montreal. He, of course, had his accident, which then just ruined anything that could have happened for him in Formula One. He came back miraculously, and it was such an amazing story for him to be given a chance by Williams. Of course, he wasn't able to show his full potential because he was restricted. But to win Le Mans is such a special thing for him. And I and many Formula One fans around the world are very, very happy for him. So, well done, Kubica. The winner of the best reactions for the Canadian Grand Prix is F1 Samek. This one, it just made me chuckle. It really made me chuckle. Groundhog named Gary. Just coming out of nowhere. See you later, 20 points of downforce. You are gone. Half a second a lap. Goodbye for Lewis Hamilton. It's simple, it's effective. Well done, F1 Samek. You have won some P1 merch. I will speak to you on Twitter, and we will get that sorted. And thank you, everybody, for getting involved. Right, that is it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the best reactions. We've got a week off now until we then go to Austria in the next week after that. It's my birthday weekend that weekend, so I'm very excited, and should be a good race. Austria does deliver. If we get some hot conditions as well, let's have a 2-3 stop. Let's pray for the best race of the season, shall we? Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. #P1 in the future to get involved in future memes. We'll see you soon. Bye.